and good morning from Miyajima once again. This week I'm shooting with a lens that Viltrox sent me. This is their new 26mm f2.8 super pancake lens. This video is not sponsored, but if you've been watching the channel, you know that in general I'm pretty positive about Viltrox lenses because they are just good products for the price. But of course, since I didn't have to pay for this lens, you can take all the grains of salt necessary listening to my opinions about the lens. But anyway, this video is not a review, it's more like a return on experience about using this lens. There will be specific things about the lens itself, but more so about like the focal length, 26mm, which is something I don't use a lot. And if I remember correctly, Viltrox about 2 years ago, they released a 28mm f4.5 fixed aperture lens, which was kind of fun to use, but a bit of a gimmick product, I would say. This one also, I don't expect it to be like super flawless in terms of image quality, sharpness and all that, but it is a more serious lens, I would say, because it is part of their Evo series. I can see the Evo branding on the side, and I mean, you have an aperture ring, you can change the aperture from 2.8 to f16. I think it will be a challenge for me to shoot at this focal length because you know, I love 35mm, and when it comes down to 28 it starts to be a bit wide for me, and at 26 it's even wider. So yeah, I don't know how this will turn out, but I've been using it a bit already. And at 26mm you have a lot of versatility because you can shoot wide when the scene like works at this wide angle of view. But once you jump into the APS-C crop mode, you have a 40mm-ish equivalent field of view, which is very natural, very neutral, and a bit more punched in. So it's easier to have like more minimal, a bit cleaner compositions. And at 26 I love it because of course I used it at home when I received it, and it's a perfect field of view for me to be at home in the apartment taking photos of family, friends, and of course my daughter. So for that, I think it's already kind of the perfect dad lens in my opinion. And let's see how it does outside in the real world. It's not because you're using one specific lens that you cannot use like all sorts of features that comes with your camera. And here I'm seeing a shot where I use the APS-C crop mode to jump more into like a 40mm field of view. Then I use the black bars on the screen to make this kind of letterbox crop. And I place the totally more on the bottom half or the bottom third of the frame, and I think it works well. It doesn't really look like a 26mm shot, but because it's sharp enough and it works well, you have the versatility to do these kind of things. I am once again in Miyajima today, but it was more because I had to shoot like a specific video sequence for a video project I'm working that is not related to this video, but I still brought my camera, and I've been shooting a bit on the ferry to come, and since now I'm done with the video things, I keep taking photos with it, and I'm having a lot more fun than I thought. I was kind of afraid of the focal length. I was about to take a photo from here, but I went a bit left to separate the building from the tree, and now I think we have a cleaner composition despite shooting as wide as 26mm. There's no one in the frame also, which helps with keeping this tidy and yeah, clean and minimal. After many years doing photography, it's only recently that I started liking and using the aperture ring on my lenses when they have one. And the good thing about this one is that it has an aperture ring, so it makes just the photography taking process experience a bit more interactive, a bit more engaging. So it's definitely a fun lens to use. That said, in terms of settings, because it is a wide angle lens, I put my f-stop at f5.6 in such conditions. Gives me already plenty of depth of field with this wide field of view, and I don't really touch it all that much, so yeah, goes against what I just said. But whenever I want to change the aperture, for example at home, taking photos of my daughter, f2.8 gives me a bit of separation, so I like that. And yeah, with the aperturing, it makes it a bit more fun. And still on the topic of settings, I have my shutter speed at 125th of a second because I shoot in kind of a slow pace way at the moment. But if I want to shoot a bit more street with a lot of movement and want to freeze the action, oh, there's a car coming, I would bump that minimum shutter speed to maybe 500th of a second. ISO is of course on auto up to 6400, and then I use the exposure compensation to adapt to like the contrast and the lighting situations. I like keeping my settings simple to focus on the moment, focus on the composition, and yeah, having a good day out shooting. Alright, I think I'm pretty happy with some of the photos I took yesterday, and like I said, it was quite unexpected to have that much fun using with such a wide focal length. The plan was actually to go out also today to shoot more photos, but everything got shuffled a little bit when our daughter woke up with a bit of temperature, so yeah, I will be staying at home today and hopefully go back outside tomorrow or the day after, which I'm not very mad about because in the past 2-3 weeks it was only rain, only overcast here in Japan with a proper rainy season this year, so I'm quite happy to finally see that changing. It will be blazing hot and humid like a sauna, but at least it will be a bit different when it comes to taking photos. But this gave me time to think a bit more about the lens and more so the focal length. And you know, we are in this World Cup season at the moment. For me, photos that are taken more at tighter focal lengths, I'm thinking maybe 50 or even 70, 85, they feel more like a penalty kick, like you expect the player to hit at the ball and actually to score a goal. There are penalty kicks that look very simple, very boring because the striker managed to kick the ball and put it in the opposite side where the goalkeeper dives, so yeah, that's one thing. But at the same time, there's also penalty kicks that are very beautiful, like I'm thinking maybe of Harry Kane. He tends to kick the ball very hard and sometimes even put it on one of the top corners, so it's definitely a bit harder in terms of skill. You need more skill to achieve that, and also a lot of temper to resist the amount of pressure. And once you go wider with your focal length, I feel like it starts to look a bit more like a long-range free kick. If a player from a team gets fouled maybe 30-35 meters away from the goal, most likely they will try to make some sort of strategy. They will cross the ball in the penalty area, hoping for a counter or maybe just like a header, trying to create a dangerous situation. But more and more in modern football, it's quite rare to see someone like aiming at the goal and kick the ball full force when the team got a free kick 30-35 meters away from the goal. So it's very unexpected, and the most likely scenario is actually that the ball fly like maybe 20 meters above the goal or end up in the wall, or yeah, just not creating anything dangerous. But one free kick like that out of 100 or maybe even 1000 will finish in the back of the net, and those like create highlights that are viewed and reviewed by so many people, maybe even people that are not into football, just because it's a beautiful sport moment. And some of those free kicks also end up competing for the Puskás Award, like the best and the most beautiful goal of the last season. And to me, shooting with a wider focal length, especially as wide as 26mm, feels a bit like taking a long-range free kick and aiming at the goal. The most likely scenario is that it will not create anything dangerous and that I may fail miserably, but that one shot that will finish in the back of the net might be one of the best I got that year or from the past 5 years, or I don't know, maybe my whole photography career. As much as I like 35mm, which I feel is a nice in-between a penalty kick and a long-range free kick, I think you can create beautiful and more complex compositions, and because it's wider than 50, you will end up with more things of the environment, which makes a more interesting photo. But of course, when you go down to 28 or even 26mm, it's harder to find those beautiful photos, but when you hit that ball correctly, it's making a nice curve, it's passing above the wall and taking a direct direction of one of the top corner and ends up in the back of the net. Those shots are pretty unique, very special, and some that you can be very proud of. It's just that here, the hit rate when you shoot wider is way lower than when you shoot at 15 meter, for example, but when it hits pretty hard. I am finally out shooting for a second day this week. It was delayed a little bit, but yeah, I'm still using this lens. And I was talking in my last video about like weather and how it should not influence your decision to go out or not to take photos. And today was one of these days where the weather forecast was super positive, bright and sunny the whole day. But as you can see, it's still very overcast, but yeah, let's see how it turns out. It's not sunny, but I'm already sweating like crazy. It's finally summer here, but maybe that's one of the reasons why I stick to an action cam for these vlog sections, because the quality is not as good. So maybe you cannot see too much all the droplets of sweat on my forehead, but yeah, anyway, let's take some photos. I'm not sure what I saw there, but I quite like the texture of this bicycle garage with just like the geometry of everything. And I like those thin like metallic panels with plenty of rust on it. There's also these orange lines on the road, which could lead to something interesting. I just don't know exactly how to compose that, especially with something as wide as 26. So I think I decided to use the orange lines as like leading lines towards this electric pole, which serves as my main anchor, kind of main subject in the photo. But really what's interesting is this wall with plenty of texture and colors. So yeah, let's see if it works. There's something I find interesting in the repetition of these identical little houses. So pretty simple, maybe a bit more at an angle. Boop. Nothing too special here with this bamboo forest. It's just that we are right in the middle of a residential area, so it's kind of interesting to find that. Although now I'm composing the photo with just the bamboo forest, so it could be more interesting to actually feature the forest inside its environment, to actually play with that contrast that I am seeing now as I take photos. But if you're just watching the photos, you have no clue. I think I finally got my shot from here. We don't see any of the houses nearby, but there is this fence and stuff, so kind of shows that we are not in the middle of the forest. And I like the little colorful element here with the yellow oranges that pairs pretty nicely with the green behind. Cool. Finally a bit of sunlight creating some nice contrast, and that house at the end of the road is pretty bright, so it's catching and reflecting the light very nicely, contrasting well with the foreground that is in the shadow. Now the sunlight is going away, but I managed to get a shot that I think looks pretty nice. The lighting is not optimal right now, but it's always so interesting to see these very thin buildings here in Japan. So it's just about being able to fit a vending machine with trash cans. It's pretty funny. Kind of a funny scene with the bench being, I guess, renovated or something. You're supposed to be sitting here enjoying the view on the atomic bomb dome, but yeah, not the case at the moment. It's the next day. I'm at the airport in Shanghai on my way to go to Switzerland to visit family and attend one of my friends' wedding. But let's come up with some closing thoughts about this lens. I think it is normal, and this is what I expected. This lens not being perfect. It is not the one with the fastest autofocus, but for the type of photo I'm taking, and probably that you're also taking if you're watching my channel, it is plenty enough. It does flare a little bit depending on where the source of light is placed when you take a photo. If it's around the corners or the edges, you might end up with a bit of flare, but it can look good in sometimes, and it doesn't ghost, so you don't lose completely the contrast, which is a good thing. Otherwise, there's plenty of positive things also about this lens. It is plenty sharp, like I said, and like I used many times during those 2 days shooting with the lens. You can use and abuse the APS-C crop mode to use it at a 40mm field of view. You will have plenty of details, and if you want to bump up the resolution in post with the super resolution in Lightroom, the software will have an easy time to use all that detail to bump up the resolution and have very clean and just good results. It is also weather resistant to some extent against splash and a bit of dust, so it increases the use cases of this lens. You don't have to worry too much about the conditions you take this out. It has the aperturing to make your shooting experience a bit more interactive, and that leads me to thinking one thing is Viltrox, please make the lens that Sony doesn't want to make. Seeing what you're capable of with this form factor, like these pancake lenses opening at f2.8, I really want one at 35mm because Sony has the G lens line of lenses, but somehow they have the 24, the 50, and the one in between is 40, which to me, it doesn't make sense when you have 40 and 50 and then the wider is 24. Like this center lens in the middle shouldn't be 40, it should be 35, and it's a focal length I much prefer over 40. And now that they have this line of lenses, Sony would probably never do a 35mm f2.8 with weather resistant, with an aperture ring. And looking at what Viltrox is doing, we know they are capable of, so I hope maybe this 26mm is a first lens in a new line of like tiny pancake lenses that are still part of the Evo line. So we have the aperture ring, the weather sealing, and just overall good build quality and performance, image quality, and all that stuff. So yeah, I think this lens is one I will keep for inside. Like I said, it's a nice dad lens to have around your apartment, your house, because it performs well and gives you a nice perspective in these closed environments. But whenever I go outside, I prefer 35. So yeah, that's why I want Viltrox to jump on the 35mm focal length. I mean, I love their Evo f1.8 lens, but for what I do, 2.8 would be plenty enough for 99% of the photos I want to take. So if I can save half of the weight and have something that is probably a third of the size, I would take it like every day. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video, and thank you for watching if you're still there. See you in the next one. Bye.